Our planet is full of life. People, places, and animals. Inspiring filmmakers to explore. Finding new stories. Taking us on journeys of discovery into our natural world. This is Wild Lives.
Ny tantara sahala amin'ny angano zany araky ny voalaza teo hoe ny olona taloha mipetraka tao anaty ala tao. Kay le hira nandeha nanokatsy vilagny dia nampidiriny ao ny lohany hihinany raha tagnatin'ny vilagny tao. Kanjo avy tapoka zany le olo tompony vilagny. Dia tsy afaka tao ny lohany. Dia naneno amizay zany satria mety migebo angano vilagny na hoe salamabay dia hoe nataony hoe vaky nataony. Dia le mahatonga ny hoe Maki.
Today, the Maki are one of over 100 species of lemur found in Madagascar, almost all of which are endangered. Like 90% of Madagascar's wildlife, they are found nowhere else. Madagascar is an ancient island, separated from Africa for over 160 million years. Much of the land was once covered by lush rainforest. But now, the trees have been felled. What isn't used for agriculture has been left barren. Seasonal burning stops the forest growing back. Nestled between towering cliffs, a tiny fragment remains. This is Anza, a beacon of hope and a last refuge for the Maki. Concerned that the forest was disappearing, a group of local people formed a community association to protect Anza and the lemurs.
Ny anarako moa dia John. Dia ny asa ataoko zany miasa ato amin'ny fikambagna iaho. Miaro ny ala. Anisany atao hoe mahasarika ny mpizahatany mba hampiditra vola ho an'ny fokon'olona miaro sy ho an'ny fanjakana koa. Izay zany nahatonga anay nanorina ny fikambanana hiaro ny ala Anganjà. Salama be. Ny fokon'olona manontolo zany efa tapa-kevitra, tsisy pikitikitika, tsisy simba koa. Ny hazo moa efa tsy misy, ny biby koa mialany tamingy.
The association also established an entrance fee for the forest, which is used to fund a local school. Many members now earn their living taking tourists to see the lemurs in the forest.
Anomboka tamin'ny sokafan'ny arovana an'ity zany dia mahatsapa hoe sanety le nataonay teo aloha. toerana tsisy hazo regny ezahana ho fenoana hazo. Fa rehefa feno ala zany manodidina ireto dia afaka miparitaka manao an'izao sy izao zany.
The Maki are the biggest draw for tourists to Anza. As Madagascar's most famous lemur, many people come here just to see them. Over the years, they have gradually become accustomed to people. Nowadays, they have little to fear from humans. But this wasn't always the case.
Fa ny olona aty zany efa hatrany ela zany tsy mihinana an'io Maki io. Fa ny olona taloha miteny hoe fady. De nisy olona zany olona tsy de mponina aty fa olona vahiny nifindra monina aty. De izy zany le nitarika le olona namono ny biby. De vonoiny le biby de hohaniny. Fa ny zavatra nataon'ny olona taty de misambotra ny Maki de amidy ho an'ny olona mandalo, ohatra mandalo amin'ny tomobile.
As the association brings real benefits to the local people, they have come to see the value of the forest that remains. And their feelings towards the animals are changing too.
Ity zany olona mipetraka aty ambanivohitra. Taloha zany gnay tsy de nahalalala firy miresaka momba ny hoe tontolo iainana. Taloha zany gnay de ohatra nanao sinitsinina ny hoe tahaka ny biby, tahaka ny Lemurs zany. De rehefa atao zany hoe ny ankapobeny de mitovy fiainana amin'ny olombelo ihany zany ny Maki. Ary samy voazagnahary na ny olombelo na ny biby.
Now that the association is well established, the true legacy of Anza has become clear.
De hoe le ny eritrerisiko zany de mba hoe ho sahisy firavany zany le fitatagnana amin'ny fiarovana ny Anja. Satria iaho mieritseritsy ny hoe iaho zao fa mihalehibe, iaho miteraka koa de mba ho avy ny zanaka mapara ao afara ao zany. Jely mamperitreritra anahy no hoe ny fagniriako zany mba sahisy firavany zany ny fiarovana an'ity. Mino aho fa mba hiezaka bebe kokoa zany ny mandimby ao afara ao, akoatsin'izao fahitantsika maso zao.
Across Madagascar, lemur populations are drastically declining. But here at Anza, the population is over 400 strong. For its size, Anza has the highest density of Maki in Madagascar. The future is uncertain for much of Madagascar's wildlife. But at Anza, at least, it seems the Maki are safe.
Deep within the forests of a remote island lurks a creature with a fearsome reputation. Meet the Tasmanian Devil. But due to their legendary brawls, this irritable icon is now facing disaster and may be in desperate need of our help. When the first European settlers arrived in Tasmania, they were met by blood-curdling shrieks. Little did they know that this terrifying sound came from an animal only the size of a small dog. But these little devils earned themselves a formidable reputation. It seems these pint-sized predators have found their way to the top of the food chain.
When the dingo arrived, the thylacine or Tasmanian tiger and the devil became extinct on the mainland of Australia. But we managed to retain all those species in Tasmania. We didn't have the dingo. In Australian ecosystems, where our fauna are mostly marsupials, our equivalent of the bone-eating hyena or the grey wolf is the Tasmanian devil.
However, unlike the wolf or hyena, devils prefer a solitary life. They only meet when they have to. When they mate and eat. While they're the biggest pouch predator on the island, they rarely hunt large prey. The majority of their food is scavenged. But scavenged carcasses attract others. And that means sharing. To thrive in such a competitive environment, the devils have had to adapt.
It has very robust teeth and jaws for eating bone and consuming the hard parts of carcasses.
And a notoriously bad temper. They do not get along, so things usually flare up over dinner.
Devils bite each other, and they bite each other a lot around the face and the mouth.
They can inflict deep wounds as they squabble over food. But while this aggression appears brutal, it actually plays a very important role in devil life. Their battle scars are a badge of honour, the sign of a successful scavenger. not to mention an attraction to females come mating season. But more recently, their love of fighting could be the devil's downfall. It may be natural, but this aggression has also led to a catastrophic series of events.
Well, I'm an immunologist, and I'm particularly interested in how cancers escape the immune system. Around about 1996, one female devil developed a cancer. A photographer was taking photos in a place called Mount William, and he sort of wondered why the devil population was a bit low. But he also noticed some devils with these horrible lesions, and that was devil facial tumour disease.
And DFTD, as it came to be known, was no ordinary cancer.
This devil then bit another devil and transmitted a few cancer cells. When you think of all the cancers there are, and there's only 3 types of transmissible cancers, it is extremely rare.
This tough and testy Tasmanian icon was suddenly vulnerable to a rare and deadly cancer. And due to the devil's naturally aggressive behaviour, the disease now threatened to spread across the island.
And then that was transmitted to a second devil, and then from 2 devils to 4, and it's been transmitted across most of Tasmania.
Over just 20 years, the disease has eliminated some 80% of Tasmania's devils. But while some scientists have been looking for ways we can help the devil, Menna Jones believes an answer may lie with the devils themselves. Menna has been focusing on a problem created by the devil's mating behaviour. As males and females fight during the breeding season, transmission of the cancer increases.
Devils are getting the disease when they first become reproductively mature, because that's when they start biting other individuals and getting bitten. And they are dying within 6 to 12 months of reproducing. So they're dying at very young ages.
But Menna and her team then discovered an extraordinary change in the devil's behaviour.
Where there's very high mortality, there's very strong selection pressure for the animal to survive. We're finding that one of the responses to the disease is that devils are breeding much earlier. They're breeding as teenagers, only 4 or 5 months after they're weaned, and they're tiny little animals there.
It seems the devils have started to mate before they are exposed to the disease. This remarkable adaptation has slowed down the spread of the cancer and has given other scientists like Greg Woods a chance to come up with their own solution.
It's my total research now, understanding the immunology behind devil facial tumour disease. The next step is to develop a vaccine to protect devils from getting the tumour rather than curing devils with established disease. People might ask, well, vaccines aren't very useful in human cancers, but the problem with human cancers is that we all get a different cancer.
But while this cancer can potentially be fought with a vaccine, it will take time to develop.
The biggest challenges are developing a strong vaccine, getting access to enough animals, and testing enough animals in the wild. It's quite an interesting challenge. There's lots of questions we still have to ask.
With time running out for the Tasmanian Devil, it seems these infamous brawlers have found an even more remarkable way to fight back. Despite our best efforts, Menna has discovered an even more extraordinary response to the disease.
So for the first 10 or more years, populations were declining precipitously. And we haven't seen any further population decline in those areas since 2008. We have also recorded rapid evolution in the genome. Now, if you put all of those 3 things together, I think we are seeing the early signs of the evolution of resistance to the disease. I think we're going to see changes sooner rather than later.
And not only are they fighting back, they are doing so incredibly quickly.
I've been talking about evolution for 10 years now, but I was thinking maybe 20, 30 years we might see some evolution of resistance in the devils. And I think we're seeing it, within 8 years of local outbreak. So people talk about, we're going to find a magic bullet or a silver bullet, but really the magic bullet is evolution. And it's really a matter of watch this space.
It appears this little devil with a big attitude is doing battle with a deadly disease. And some believe they may even be winning.
I remember quite clearly walking into a small clearing, getting close to the heron colony. I looked up and I was right underneath an eagle nest.
We realized these eagles were nesting right amongst the herons, and this just didn't seem to match with what we understood.
You sort of assume the eagle is nesting near the herons because they're preying on the herons.
Most people don't know the story.
Hello.
Hi, it's Steven.
Hey, Stephen, come on up.
Thanks.
Come on in. As you know, we have a heron colony down here below us.
When I moved in to an apartment next door, the herons moved here. And I've been watching them for 17 years.
The herons come every year, which is just remarkable. And just love to watch them arrive, and they mate, and then the babies come.
And of course, you feel sorry for these innocent little chicks that are getting torn to shreds right in front of you. So yeah, there's definitely some conflicting emotions there.
You coming down to get some pictures of herons?
Leave the camera at home, I'll see a lot.
Well, maybe that's it. Yeah. Just good to see people out looking at herons.
My name is Rob Butler, and I have a PhD in zoology from the University of British Columbia.
My name is Ross Venisland. The field I was in was behavioral ecology.
Yeah, I mean, Ross was one of my students.
That's a good question. I've worked on a lot of different birds through the years, but herons definitely have a special place in my heart, I guess. I have this sort of weird, ungainly elegance that I find attractive. On the coast of BC here, we have the Fanini subspecies of great blue heron. The subspecies numbers about 4,000 or 5,000 birds, and they're considered a species of special concern here in Canada. it's funny, the neighborhood hasn't changed very much since I was here. This is where the old Point Roberts colony was. Be interesting to see if there's still nests in there. Aha. So here's some remains of nests around here. It looks like a whole branch had come down here that held a nest. This would have been the materials that that the herons were using. So back in the day when this was all heron colonies, this was a crazy active environment. Hundreds of herons. The noise was unbelievable. Now it's just a quiet forest, mostly thanks to the eagles.
Just a few years ago, these trees were home to more than 100 heron nests. That's until a group of eagles moved into the area, terrorizing the birds and eating their chicks and their eggs.
We were pretty shocked when this place abandoned. It was our biggest, longest lived colony. But also very happy that they resettled not too far away. So this is the Tawasin colony. This is where the birds moved when they left Point Roberts. We were quite surprised they moved in here with a level of development, but even more surprising was they moved in and surrounded the active eagle nest that was here. So it couldn't be more obvious at that point. The herons were the ones following the eagles around. And yeah, it's just such a surprise. Like, why would herons be nesting so close to this eagle?
Oh yeah, look at that, right there. That picture says it all. So about 4 out of 5 of the herons in the lower Fraser Valley are nesting around eagle nests like this. The eagle is a major predator of herons, so why would they nest there?
Back in 2006, we had a really big windstorm here. I mean, I think the wind speed was essentially hurricane force.
It blew the eagle nest in Chilliwack out of the tree.
And the heron colony started to do worse.
The number of young that were raised in that colony dropped dramatically. The following year, the eagles came back, built their nest, and the number of young increased.
We knew that the herons were nesting with the eagles, and we knew that they were doing better by doing so, but how did this actually work?
Eagles set up big nests, and they're very territorial around these nests.
They seem to be looking up too. I don't know if there's oh, look, there's a couple more eagles over here. So that's what they picked up on. And there's another one over there. Well, any eagle that gets closer to the nest of the nesting eagle here will be chased away.
An analogy we came up with was the mafia protection racket. The mafia is making life difficult for the population near them.
The eagle will take some of the chicks and some of the eggs.
But they're also offering some level of protection.
Look at this one coming down here. We're gonna get something. Oh, look, here. There's the chase. It's chasing them off. The eagle has provided a safe place for them to nest by keeping all the other eagles away. There it is. Oh! Look at him go, whoa! Look at it, he's coming down.
So the herons that are nesting near eagles are essentially sacrificing some of their young for an overall protection.
The herons know exactly what they're up to. You got to remember that you only have one pair of eagles around that big colony, whereas if you're out away from an eagle nest, you've got all the eagles with their eyes on you.
For the herons, it's kind of the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. And in this case,
it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't.
The white-tailed sea eagle is Britain's largest bird of prey. For many, it is the king of Scotland's skies. Once extinct on these shores, the sea eagle has now returned and made the Isle of Mull its home.
It'll always be known as the first place that they bred. It was those early pioneering birds which set the scene for the return of the white-tailed eagle.
However, for others, their presence brings peril.
It must be really easy if all you're into is eagles and you just see eagles, and you blinker yourself from what happens beyond that.
Local RSPB officer Dave Sexton has been watching and monitoring sea eagles on the Isle of Mull since the early 80s. Today he's travelling deep into the heart of Tyroran forest to visit a very special pair of eagles, Fingal and Iona.
We know this pair really well. The female was hatched in 1998. She's a Scottish bird from northwest Scotland. But the male here is actually a Norwegian import from 1997. So they're good, mature birds now and have been raising chicks for many years.
This year the pair have a hungry new mouth to feed. But already there has been tragedy. After losing their first chick of the season, Fingal and Iona must now work harder than ever to raise their only surviving eaglet, helping to restore the sea eagle's original population.
We've got 21, 22 pairs at the moment. It's been between 20 and 22 pairs for about the last 5 years. There is still room here for more, and we're not there yet.
Whilst Dave has seen the population improve, 100 years ago it was a very different story.
We had systematically exterminated this bird, which was once the commonest eagle across the UK, and there we are, we'd just done it, we'd got rid of the last one.
Fearing that these prolific hunters would prey on sheep, they were hunted, leading to their untimely demise in Scotland. But 50 years later, conservationists hatched a plan to reintroduce the native sea eagle from Norway. And one of those pioneering birds was Fingal, who, like Dave, was eventually drawn to the magic of the Isle of Mull.
We were driving back along a sea loch, and we knew the sea eagles might be around. They'd been released on rum, but they were beginning to explore, and 1 or 2 sightings from Mull. And suddenly, as we were driving back, there was this massive bird flapping hard across, quite low over the water, over the sea loch, and we leapt out the vehicle, and there was a sea eagle, and it was just an incredible experience, and that's what really inspired me to get involved in this project to bring sea eagles back to Scotland. I made a nuisance of myself really by pestering the guys in Species Protection Department, and I was sent on this secret mission to protect the only pair of nesting sea eagles in Britain.
Dave continues to fight to protect the sea eagles here, and this year his thoughts are on the future of Fingal and Iona. Today he's heading down to their nest with a team from the RSPB.
What we're doing is trying to ring the chick of this pair. The ringing process is really important because it helps us monitor the overall population. Justin and Lewis are now going to be measuring, getting the ring on. It's a British Trust for Ornithology ring on one leg and a colour ring with big letters on another leg that we'll be able to read, hopefully, from a distance.
The team begins the long and dangerous climb to the eyrie. They must work fast so the family aren't disturbed for long. As they reach the nest, they notice the chick is unusually docile, showing very little resistance. Then, as they prepare to leave the chick in peace, the remains of its last meal catches their eye.
When we go up to visit white-tailed eagle nests, we sometimes find lambs in there, so we know they carry them in. The question is, how did they get them? Did they kill them? Did they scavenge them? Were the lambs stillborn? So many questions.
For hill farmers in Mull, the sea eagle is a real source of concern. Ian Maki and his partner Claire Simonetta fear for the lives of their flock, as the sea eagle's taste for lamb has once again brought the farmers and eagles into conflict.
Especially it's lambing time, that we really get the problems with the sea eagles. And they do, take a lot of young lambs. It's an easy prey. For anybody to turn around and say no, they won't touch it, it's sitting there, it's easy to get at. So really predominantly at that time of year they go for lambs.
Certainly in the years I've been here, I've seen just how many lambs can potentially be taken by the sea eagle.
Because the peak time for eagles to feed their chicks coincides with lambing season, Claire and Ian decided to try something different.
In 2014, we actually trialled an earlier lambing season. So our lambs were born a lot earlier than the ones on the neighbouring farms, and that actually resulted in all the local seagulls being drawn into our own area and just feeding on our lambs because that was the first lamb crop available for them as an easy food source. And we had the worst lambing in our own record since we've taken on this farm. So that was really an eye-opener to the sea eagle.
And as the island's resident RSPB officer, it is Dave who is the first to receive any complaints.
Inevitably, some of them will take a few lambs each year as well. Golden eagles and sea eagles, they're big predators. They're going to take a few lambs. Whilst research and studies have shown a lot of lambs that are taken are already dead or sickly in some way, maybe previously injured by other birds like hooded crows that can do a huge amount of damage. They're either not believed or they're thought to be biased in some way. But there is a much more enlightened attitude in the public. People want to see these birds. They deserve to be here. And we just need to find practical, pragmatic solutions to helping the farmers live alongside them.
But now Dave thinks he has found a solution. Luring the eagles away from sheep farms and back to their natural coastal home has really helped the local farmers, and even created a new tourism industry.
I think what we do does help the farmers because if you want to stop a particular predator eating one source of food, give it another. It certainly takes the pressure off the birds at a time when they are under pressure to feed their young. Obviously, if they're eating fish, then it's doing good for the chicks, and they're not taking other things either.
Martin Kivers has been feeding these eagles for a decade by mimicking fishing boats that throw fish scraps over the side, hungrily taken by opportunist eagles. people will flock for miles to get a glimpse of their impressive hunting display. But whilst the relationship between these predators and farmers is beginning to change, the sea eagles of Mull still face natural challenges. Dave's concerns are now mounting for the safety of Fingal, Iona, and their chick.
Some really unseasonably bad weather closed in. Storm Hector, as it was known, very strong winds, cold and wet, torrential rain.
The storm battered the island and nest relentlessly. Iona could do nothing but keep the chick dry as best she could. But the next morning, Dave and his team could see that the inside of the nest remained eerily still.
Our climbers went back in and very sadly found the chick had died during the storm. In hindsight, it was very well behaved. It wasn't that feisty, and it's always good if a chick puts up a bit of a fight. So it was a sickly chick, unfortunately, and the storm, the bad weather was the final straw. So a really sad end for that pair. You know, you look at them and they just look a bit bewildered and they're looking at an empty nest. Yeah, it's heart-wrenching to watch.
Whilst it's a sad end to this season, Fingal and Iona will have another chance next year. The Isle of Mull is a real sea eagle success story, and now, a century since their extinction, opinions are beginning to change.
The sea eagle, in my own personal opinion, is it's a big vulturous-looking creature, but it is iconic, there's no doubt about that, and I'm not here to say I want to see them eradicated.
I don't hold grudge against the eagle. The eagle is an animal that's just trying to make a living. If the lamb's an easier prey than a fish, you can hardly blame it. We would all do the same. So the bird deserves no hatred or anything.
Whilst some still see these aerial predators as a menace, for many they have become an integral part of this island.
Mull is one of the key spots for them now across Scotland. It'll always be known as the first place that they bred. That'll never be taken away, so people will always come here and the economic value of them will continue to increase. I hope sea eagles continue to thrive, and I hope they continue to spread across Scotland into their former haunts.
The future for the sea eagle is still very much in the hands of the people who share their Highland home. But here on Mull, they are once again succeeding and even benefiting the island like never before. Here in a land where eagles dare, eagles thrive.
In 2006, Daniel was a 13-year-old schoolboy living in a poor community on the edge of Tsavo, Kenya's largest national park. This is his story.
My parents died earlier when I was in primary. My father died through a death which was caused by a buffalo. I was left with the 3 siblings, 1 sister and 2 brothers.
My dream was just becoming a pilot. My name is Daniel Zuma. I live in the Tsavo corridor around Maungu village. And we're bordering with Tsavo on the east and a few ranches on the west side. We are 5 of us in our family. And the 2 siblings who are still in school, they are all depending on me. It's really hard getting a job in this village because basically it's a small village, no big companies and such stuff, so idleness is really a big problem. My dad was just a subsistence farmer, and apart from that, my dad used to burn charcoal to provide extra cash.
Like Daniel's father, many here rely on illegal and risky activities to earn a living because they have few options. So when Daniel's father was killed by a buffalo, the community mourned, but nobody blamed him.
Life with your parents is really smooth, not that tough as compared to when you lose your parents.
Tragedy and poverty had conspired against Daniel, but he was determined to get back on his feet. He wrote letters for sponsorship to pay his school fees. And when he succeeded, he kept on dreaming big.
My dream was just becoming a pilot, that commercial pilot flying commercial aircraft. But it was just a dream because with the situation after my parent died, I did at that point think that one day I will become a pilot because of the foundations.
Daniel's luck was about to change.
I started helping around wildlife works at their workshop.
Wildlife Works owns a sanctuary that connects 2 of Kenya's largest national parks via an essential wildlife corridor. But this corridor is also home to Daniel and 10,000 others. Living in such close proximity, conflict is inevitable. 7,000 cases of human-wildlife conflict in Kenya each year result in the deaths of at least 100 people and countless more wild animals.
On my way helping around, I met this guy by the name Rob.
A gyrocopter pilot, Rob was in charge of a wildlife area surveillance team.
He took me to college and I attained my diploma in aeronautical engineering. I started working at his hangar, taking care of his aircraft.
The sanctuary between the national parks is vast. It's incredibly hard to protect with only ground forces.
Gyrocopters have become an essential tool for protecting the wildlife and helping reduce conflicts with people.
Currently, I'm helping with surveillance. We go every morning.
With a top speed 3 times that of an off-road vehicle, gyrocopters can respond rapidly to call out in remote and hard-to-reach areas.
Having the gyrocopter airborne, having eyes in the sky, enables us to identify where the problems are and get our ranger force in to sort those problems out as quickly, as efficiently and as safely as possible.
When we're out flying, we usually check out for poachers. Sometimes we get bad things like an elephant down through poaching.
Of 13 elephants found dead in the sanctuary between September and November 2016, all but 2 were shot, poisoned, or snared.
I've been living in the Tsavo corridor for all of my life, but I never known the importance of wildlife till I started living with Rob. My passion changed all the way when I come back to wildlife, learning how important wildlife is, conserving it is, and that's what has changed my passion to becoming a bush pilot, which will make me fly around conserving wildlife every day. The first time I was kind of scared flying because I've never flown before, you know. But with time flying with Rob, I got used to that and I loved to fly more and more.
And then, tragedy struck again. In March 2017, Rob suddenly passed away.
When Rob's tragedy came, it just raised the wound that was like healed when I lost my parents back. Rob was like a dad to me. He showed me lots and lots, especially on the conservation part. He's taught me everything, living with everything. Taught me how to fly, taught me how to sail. He's taught me how to drive. That's how I remember Rob. Yeah, I'll probably never forget him all of my life.
In the 12 months before his death, Rob, Daniel, and the surveillance team flew over 600 hours and covered nearly 60,000 kilometers. The elephant population here rose by 600 over the same period.
I would like to be a gyro pilot to keep his legacy running on. Five Yankee Charlie Bravo uniform, flying low level around El Kinga Ranch. And traffic, please advise. My dream was just becoming a bush pilot, conserving wildlife every day, every moment, and always.